Hello and welcome back to Outtext TV. So today we are ranking all the Spider-Man movies. There's 8 of them out right now. So we're going to jump in and we're going to do this. And we're going to start off with number 8. Now, number 8 is going to be Spider-Man 3. I don't really need to say much about this. The character of Peter Parker went haywire. Venom wasn't very good in this movie. They kind of just, the studio wanted Venom in there and just forced it upon there, and it didn't work at all. And it's all over the place. And it's just, I'm pretty sure you'll see most people have this one down the bottom. It's not very good. It's all over the place. And it's just, yeah, Venom just kind of hurt it. And you're just too many things going on at once. And it hurts the film. So we move into number 7, which is going to be The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Which is basically the same problems as Spider-Man 3. Except, I think there is just a few action sequences in that make it a bit better than Spider-Man 3. And again, there's just too many going on. Electro, like the motive of Electro is kind of a bit like, oh, okay, don't really get it. And then you throw in the whole Harry Osborn and Green Goblin sort of thing. I thought the ending was good, and I was very keen to see where Spider-Man was going to go after that, after the death of Gwen Stacy, but we're not going to get it because it didn't do so well, and it's not a very good movie. It's just plot line after plot line after plot line after plot line, and it hurts the film, unfortunately. Andrew Garfield is good in the role as Peter Parker, and I think him and Emma Stone had great chemistry, but it wasn't enough to save the film. Now, coming in at number 6 is going to be The Amazing Spider-Man. Now, this one's not too bad. Like, this is watchable. I did quite enjoy this one. But again, it's so hard to go after that first Spider-Man to try and do the origin story again. They changed it up a bit. But overall, it just didn't really stick as well. And I can see they're going with the Gwen Stacy storyline rather than the actual Mary Jane story. And yeah, just the villain, the Lizard, was okay. Not the best villain, but you know, you gotta give him props for trying something different. And yeah, so we're gonna do that one. That's gonna come in down there. So okay, so number 5 is gonna be Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, I did have this one as my second one before Far From Home and Spider-Verse came out. But after rewatching them all and all that, Spider-Man Homecoming, I think, deserves to be in number 5. I mean, I love the Vulture villain is fantastic. His motive is there and everything. Tom Holland's brilliant in the role. Absolutely love him as Spider-Man. I mean, it's a good film for such a small-scale movie, which is what we needed at that point in time, a small-scale one. But I just think the presence, after rewatching it, the presence of Iron Man is good and all that, but it's kind of like, I can see what people say now about having Iron Man in this Spider-Man movie so much. It's sort of like, it is sort of like an Iron Man Jr. movie sort of thing, but otherwise I do enjoy Homecoming, but I have to have it down here now. It has to drop out of my top 3 and the top 4, so it's going to sit in number 5. Now we move into number 4, and this is where things get hard, because there are 4 fantastic films now, but for me, it's got to be Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse. I mean, this is just a fantastic movie. Don't get me wrong. These next 4 are just fantastic movies. I love them all. This is just brilliant. Miles Morales, new character, absolutely great emotion through, like an animated film. Doing this much emotion was fantastic. And it just showed you what they can do with the Spider-Man character in animation form and create such a good film. Now, I love how they didn't, grab the Peter Parker character and throw him to the ground to make Miles better. They made Peter Parker better as well. And it was just so cool to see all the Spider-Mans into one film like that, and all the different types of villains. And Kingpin was a fantastic villain. He had good motive, and he also was just an absolute presence on the screen. So that comes in at number 4. Now, coming in at number 3, a lot of people are not going to agree with this one, but for me, it is Spider-Man 2. And what separates Spider-Man 2 from the top 2 is the only thing that I just do not like in this movie, and that's when he loses his powers and why he loses them. I just don't, for 1 minute, believe it. I just can't sit there and believe it that he would lose his powers on that when it's got nothing to do with that. It's, no matter what, Superman could go through the same thing and he ain't going to lose his powers. He's still going to have them. And it's the same with Captain America. If he goes through that, he's not going to lose his powers. Same, like, it's just, it's not like that. It's not like Thor where there's an enchantment on it and Odin can rip it off you. It doesn't work. Other than that, Doc Ock is amazing as a villain. It's a fantastic movie. It's just that little bit I have a problem with, which unfortunately drops it below for me. Otherwise, everything else of it is #1 material, but just that little bit just throws it off for me. So now we move into the top 2, and it's so hard to pick between these two, but I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. So number 2 is Far From Home. I think this is an absolute fantastic movie. I had a ball with it. Some things we've never seen before. And it's just, Tom Holland is fantastic. He's my favourite Spider-Man by far. I just love the way that he developed through this movie to trying to juggle life and the superhero gig going at once. What was he going to do? Be the neighbourhood hero or be the hero the Earth needed? And it's so good. The only downside that separates this one from the first Spider-Man, which is going to be #1, is the villain. I think Mysterio could have been flushed out a bit more with a bit better motive. That's my only criticism. Other than that, it's well-deserved here, and it was almost going to be #1. But #1 is going to be the original Spider-Man. The original Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Just, to me, this is just one of my favourite comic book movies of all time. It's just so good. I think it's like my 3rd favourite comic book movie of all time. I just love the storyline, and I love the Green Goblin as a villain. I think he's flushed out. He's got motive, and just so good, this movie. Like, the origin, I love a good origin story, and this origin story is done perfectly. And it's just so good. It is so good, the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Let me know in the comments, what are your rankings of the Spider-Man movies? Because we're all going to have different opinions. Love to hear everyone else's. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have yourselves a lovely day.